Hello everybody, my name is Tonikaku and welcome to Second Thoughts. Today I'm going to be talking about the series Tonikaku Cawaii, which means generally cute. The official English title for the series is Fly Me to the Moon. The series was created by Hata Kenjiro and started serialization in late 2018. It is currently ongoing with 109 chapters scanlated as of the recording of this video. So this review is mainly going to consist of me talking about a few aspects that stood out. So let's get right into it. Let's start with a synopsis, a short synopsis, and I'm just going to talk about who I think this might appeal to and whom it might not appeal to. So the series focuses on two characters. They are Yuzaki Nasa and Tsukuyomi Tsukasa. And it essentially follows their day-to-day lives. As it turns out, couples have fun. Who would have guessed? Like hand-holding buffets, cuddling, actually enjoying the company of another person? So do you like suspense? Do you like series where it takes 50 to 60 chapters until someone decides to make a move? Or maybe you want love triangles, drama. You want all those crazy, intense stuff. If you do, Tonikaku Cawaii probably isn't for you. On the other hand, you want quality humor and lots of fluff, Tonikaku Cawaii just might be what you ordered. Tonikaku Cawaii is fluff. I don't think it's pointless fluff, though. There is an underlying sort of theme that I wouldn't say dominates the story, but it's just enough for you to be curious. And that to me is interesting. All right, with the recommendation out the way, let's delve into what I want to talk about. Now, do note that there will be spoilers, but I will try to keep them to a minimum. There are 4 aspects I want to touch on. They are 1. The characters, 2. Nasa and the concept of childlike innocence, 3. The relationship dynamic between Tsukasa and Nasa, and lastly, storytelling without drama. Nasa and Tsukasa are the standouts of the stories. That should come as no surprise given what the story is about. The other characters don't have their own real arcs. With all that said, I find them all relatively interesting still. One standout is Arisugawa Kaname. Her dynamic with Nasa is absolutely hilarious, and she probably reiterates the desires that us, the readers, want. That's right, Nasa. Kaname just wants you and Tsukasa to fuck. Anyways, Kaname is a treat. Another standout is Chitose, who is a little annoying. She plays the role of an unapproving little sibling, which is not really original or anything. That said, I don't think it detracts from the story too much. Despite being not original, it's written in a way that's still humorous and entertaining. And I think that's one of the most important things. You don't have to be original if you're executing what you're trying to do well enough. Yeah. You know what? Her dynamic with her 2 maids, which is Aurora and Charlotte. And as a complete aside, I like Charlotte's design. But again, that's not important. That dynamic is funny. It's great. It doesn't play a huge role in the story, but it's still entertaining. I know it's not like these characters have an immense amount of depth, but at the same time, I don't think they are cardboard thin either. When you go and look at someone like Kaname, she has her own motivations still. She's still a character in her own right. Even her older sister, Aya, it's a romantic comedy, so they have to play like a foil to Tsukasa and Nasa and their antics. But at the same time, it doesn't really feel like they're just there to be a foil. They play it as a foil, but they also are their own characters. And because of that, their overall inclusion enhances the series. Next, I want to talk about a concept that NASA embodies to a T. Now let's take it back. When you're younger, most parents usually say things like, you could do whatever you want as long as you try hard. As you get older, you come to realize that we all have our limitations, and that's just, not everything is possible. At the same time, as you age, you realize you're going to hear people say that you should specialize in some things that you do really, really well. And it's a fair statement to make, because if you do things really well, you stand out. As opposed to being, the jack of all trades, good at a bunch of things, you're more likely to blend in if that's the case. And NASA takes that concept and throws it out completely. He goes out there, and if he wants to do something, he does it. I don't think it's a stretch to say that most kids want to be good at a ton of things. And NASA is an adult who completely embraces that mentality. I think it's a treat to watch NASA excel at everything that he tries to do. It's funny because at a certain level, you'd think someone who is good at a bunch of things would be hard to cheer for. They might become arrogant, or they might feel too perfect. And I think Hata writes NASA as an interesting and entertaining enough character that you can't help but cheer for him, even if he has everything that you don't have. The beautiful wife, the ability to perform many different things at a high level. Of course, when it comes down to it, the series is about Nasa and Tsukasa's relationship. And boy, it's a good one. These are two mature individuals. Let me say that again. Mature individuals. Tsukasa, Nasa. Nasa is not a knight in shining armor, one-note character, nor is he some deadbeat loser. Nasa is Nasa. At the same time, Tsukasa is not some damsel in distress, nor is she supposed to be the NASA savior. Tsukasa is Tsukasa. These two are actual characters on their own. I love these kind of relationships that are portrayed where it's actually healthy, because to me it shows the value of a loving relationship. Whether it's long-term fulfillment or just the day-to-day interactions, there's something special there that one can obtain when they find someone they love. So the final aspect I wanted to talk about is a testament to Hata's writing abilities. Now, don't get me wrong. I know it sounds like I'm saying drama is bad, and that's not actually what I'm thinking, okay? I personally love my dramas, my well-written dramas anyways. But if you were to ask me what is the easiest way to draw a reader's attention, I would argue that having dramatic events constantly occurring, well, not constantly, but just occurring within the story, is an easier method to draw people in, especially as opposed to the events that typically occur in a romantic comedy. These things like struggles, growth, they're all easier to kind of observe when you have such significant events occurring, because you can look at the character from before it happens, and then after it happens, the change is there, right? It's more apparent, it's more obvious. Not to mention, the event itself can be captivating to the readers. In Tonikaku Cawaii, the character growth has to be subtle. It's just the nature of the genre it's in. In addition to that, it's not like there's much growth that needs to occur in this story. So you have a story where the growth is subtle and minor. And yet, despite that, I still look forward to the next chapter constantly. And that right there means something. And that something is thanks to the skillful writing of Hata, who's able to craft a compelling little story with phenomenal humor, great characters, while still keeping the tone of the manga, light and consistent. So that's all I want to talk about for now. But I know that everyone loves numerical rankings, and I do too. So with that said, I give Tonikaku Cawaii a grade of 9 out of 10. Something to note for now and for future reference is that my rankings include objective and subjective thoughts. Well, as objective as I can be. So this means my personal enjoyment plays a role in these rankings. And if it wasn't obvious enough, I love this series. It was great. Or it is great, as it's still ongoing. My ranking for the series has actually progressively gone up as I've reread it. I've reread it 3 times, and it has increased from an 8 to an 8.5 to its current 9. So if you were to analyze this pattern, clearly when I read it the 4th time, I'm going to give it a 9.5. I don't think so, but it truly is a great series. If anyone is into romantic comedies, I would 100% recommend this series to you. It's fluffy, it's funny, the characters are great, and like these points that I just noted recently, I think that there is a lot that Tonikaku Cawaii offers in a unassuming package. And overall, I find it really enjoyable. So thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed this little review, and I will see you guys next time.